So as ICE gets to work eradicating the fraud center of Minnesota, a civil war is breaking out. Oh, they just threw something. Oh, look at all these rioters. Ooh. This is America? This is crazy. And guess who's inciting all of this? The governor of the state, who's essentially calling for more.
Are going door to door, ordering people to point out where their neighbors of color live.
This is
They're
so
pulling over
horrible.
People indiscriminately, including U.S. citizens, and demanding to see their papers. And at grocery stores, at bus stops, even at our schools. They're breaking windows, dragging pregnant women down the street, just plain grabbing Minnesotans and shoving them into unmarked vans.
Absolutely unbelievable.
No warning.
And look at this, the mobs are now arming themselves.
Extremely angry agitators try to smash their way into the weapons locker and may have gotten their hands on bullets and at least one gun. People were damaging cars, smashing windows, spray painting them. Protesters also apparently got their hands on what appears to be important law enforcement documents. One of our producers there says the protesters were carefully reading each paper believed to have sensitive information like agents' names and arrest warrants.
So they took the agents' weapons, and now they got their names and their identities.
DHS says this all began when immigration agents were conducting a targeted traffic stop of an illegal migrant from Venezuela.
They're doing their jobs.
They say the man tried to escape, crashed his car, and then ran.
Wow.
At one point, two other people ganged up on the officer. DHS writes, as the officer was being ambushed and attacked by the two individuals, the original subject got loose and began striking the officer with a shovel or broomstick. Fearing for his life and safety as he was being ambushed by three individuals, the officer fired defensive shots to defend his life. Now, around the same time as the shooting, a special address from Governor Tim Walz was airing statewide. Walz mentioned resistance and told Minnesotans that President Donald Trump wants chaos and confusion.
That's what he wants. This is his confusion. This is his chaos.
You are not powerless. You are not helpless. And you are certainly not alone. All across Minnesota, people are learning about opportunities, not just to resist, but to help people who are in danger.
Oh, my goodness.
And President Trump says he will use the Insurrection Act in Minnesota to deploy troops and stop protests there. This just coming down moments ago.
These aren't protests.
Confrontations continued in Minneapolis.
These are riots.
Hours after officials say a suspected illegal immigrant attacked an officer with a shovel.
President Trump even threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act after we saw this unrest overnight following that ICE officer-involved shooting with a Venezuelan immigrant. Still see some of the crime scene tape on the ground here. We saw hundreds of protesters come out in response. Minneapolis police saying they declared an unlawful assembly and that protesters were throwing ice, rocks, and fireworks at officers. Federal officers.
How are those not weapons? Ice, rocks, explosives? Come on.
Federal officers deploying flashbangs, pepper spray, and tear gas. Now, this all happened, DHS says, when they were making a targeted enforcement traffic stop of a migrant from Venezuela.
This is so crazy.
They say that he fled from
and then the guy ran away.
When they were chasing after him, two other men came out of an apartment with a shovel and a broomstick and began attacking those officers. One ICE officer.
So here's the thing you got to understand. If you've got elected representatives telling mobs to take to the streets and telling them that they're not powerless and that Americans are being detained, that gives these fugitives an even bolder take on what they can get away with here. None of this is good for America.
Then they were able to take all three into custody after a struggle. The ICE officer and the man who was shot are in the hospital, and police say that they believe the injury is non-life-threatening.
Looks like Antifa thugs out here. Look at them.
They say that they understand these people are very angry, but they also want protesters to remain calm and not to take the bait.
Not to take the bait? What do you mean, take the bait? These protesters are throwing solid objects, and they're throwing explosives at federal agents who are responding with tear gas.
We also saw protesters break into federal officers' vehicles that were left behind the scene.
That is so crazy.
You can actually see some of the documents still on the ground over here. At one point, they were able to pull out a document that had federal officers' names and phone numbers on the sheet as well.
Great.
And so we're going to continue to monitor this, especially after President Trump said that he could.
Look at behind her. This is a wasteland. When President Trump said this place was destroyed by its sanctuary status, he wasn't wrong. Meanwhile, while this is happening, the fraud is still in overdrive.
Do you guys know where advanced mobility is? Yeah, we're looking for it.
They're looking for a mobility provider that is fraudulent, allegedly.
Looking for
Nick
advanced
Shirley.
mobility.
Apparently, they get a government contract to drive people around.
That's what we're asking for. All right, we're looking for advanced mobility. Nobody can help us right now.
Now they're getting chased out.
We got a whole group of people trying to get us out of here.
Wow.
We're looking for advanced mobility. Advanced mobility doesn't exist.
Wow. Look at this.
Get out here, man. Get out. You need to get out. You need to get out. Get out.
Wow.
Now they're pushing us out of here.
Get out.
Where's advanced
Why are these
mobility
guys so
at?
hostile?
That's what we're asking for.
Get out. Get out.
He just wants to find a business that helps
where advanced
people.
mobility is.
Nope. Go ahead. Get out.
No
So
statements.
advanced mobility is not anywhere here.
Yeah.
We're leaving, sir.
No medical
Would you like to give a
mobility
statement on what's
providers.
happening here in Minnesota?
You make stuff up. This is a lie. I don't care. Who do you work for?
Who cares?
No, who do you work for?
Nick Shirley.
Who do you work
This
for?
is Nick Shirley, sir.
I don't care about Nick Shirley. That's you.
Yes, sir.
But who do you work for?
For Nick Shirley.
I don't care
This
about
guy
Nick
can't
Shirley.
That's who
listen.
he's working for today, Nick Shirley.
These guys commit so much fraud they can't even think straight.
Get out of here.
And see, you guys say I can't film, but look at you guys filming. You can do that. You can film here.
These guys, look at them. It's like an army.
Doesn't exist.
Well, so what was interesting was we walked in there, and on the state's website, it says it's in Suite 224, but it's a one-story building. None of the suites had the number 2 on them.
That's
it
so
doesn't
fake.
exist. And it's been registered since 1999, and it doesn't exist.
They've been grifting for over 25 years off the state of Minnesota, getting government money.
How are you doing? Yes, sir.
Get out.
But look at this, the daycare fraud, it's back too.
What are you looking for?
We don't care what you do on the parking lot.
Go.
What kind of daycare is this?
This private.
I can be here in the parking lot.
No. You don't be here.
Wait,
He's not allowed in the parking lot.
It's all right. It's all right.
There's no kids. There's a bunch of grown men wearing brand new clothes.
Sir, I'm not racist.
You have to live here.
I'm asking
No. You don't ask me nothing. man.
$2.25 million.
Get out, you guys. Get out. Get out.
$2.5 million.
Wow.
This is our business.
Get out, hey. Get out. What are you looking for?
We're asking. We just want to
Get out.
Just want to know where the money is.
$2.5 million.
Get out.
You say,
Get out.
How is this not a scam?
You cannot do
Where's the
that.
kids?
No, you cannot. You cannot do that.
Where?
Get out.
This is.
Get out, man. No.
Wow.
Get out. Get out. No.
Sir.
You have to get out. This is our
You have to get out.
Can I ask you
Look
about
at this
the
place.
daycare?
Look the sign. Look at their sign. This is like a poster that was just nailed to the wall. And this guy, who's he calling? I don't know. Probably calling Tim Walz.
I have the paperwork right here.
No. Get out.
What's the need
Get
for
out.
$2.25 million?
$2.25 million.
Can you answer the question?
The need is so that these guys can live well,
You can't.
Get out.
so that they don't have an affordability crisis in America.
My name's Nick Shirley.
No, I don't give a shit. Get out.
Could you
out.
answer the question?
No, I don't.
What's the need for
These guys
$2.25
can't
million?
think, man.
daycare?
No.
They got so many schemes going on, they can't keep it all straight in their head.
And it's licensed for 118 children.
118
I don't see any
kids.
footprints of any children here.
Yeah, there's no kids,
I
no
don't see any
strollers,
footprints of any children
no
here.
cars.
Get out.
Look those
Guys.
Look at all those cars. They're all covered in snow. These cars are just being parked there. There's nothing going on at this place except for scams.
Get out. No,
Wow.
I'm not asking nothing, man.
I'm just asking you about what we're seeing here.
No, get out. Get out our business. Get out.
Sir.
This is my property.
Wow.
You have millions
Get
of people
out.
watching.
Well, listen to his
now.
mouth.
Can you say
Guy knows a lot of curse words.
for $2.25 million? And where are the 118 children?
Wow.
Get out.
Sir, I'm just
Get
asking a
out.
simple question.
Get out. No, you don't ask me any question.
This guy.
Get out.
You have the opportunity
Get
to
out.
answer
No.
the question.
You can't ask. You can't ask me nothing. Get
Wow.
out. Get out our business, man. Get out. Get out, man. Get out.
Sir,
Get out.
just answer the question.
No.
Just answer
Get
the
out.
question.
No. Get
Look
out.
at this.
Live.
Sir, just answer the
You don't touch me.
Hey, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Code word.
Get out.
All right, code word has been given. We're out.
Get out.
All right.
This is so unbelievable. This has all been exposed and it's all still going on. All these fraud operations, they hit the news, they went viral. Nothing's being done to stop them. While the governor of this state calls for mobs to know that they aren't powerless and to go out there and make their voices heard and to resist the tyranny of the federal government, he's also saying that he's cracking down on fraud. But where's the crackdown? The fraud's still happening. What a bizarre daycare. I've never seen a daycare with so many grown men hanging out at it and 0 kids. And
Here
look at how
is
obvious it
Hopkins
is to find this
Child Care
fraud.
Center. They're receiving over $2 million a year.
$2 million.
All of the windows are completely blacked out.
Oh, that's weird.
You can't even get in.
Can't
and for a
even
place
get in.
that's supposed to have over 100 children,
100 kids.
there's no footprints.
Zero
anywhere
footprints.
going into the store.
No signs. Look, the signs are taken off the door. Locked up.
And it's locked.
That place is empty,
right
man.
This is the backside of the daycare.
Oh, this is the
right
place
now.
they were just at. This is the place they were just at. Look, so now we get another look at this
Hello,
operation.
sir. How you doing? How are you doing?
Oh,
yes,
this
sir.
guy, he's the guy that answered the door.
Get out!
They were immediately angry.
What are you looking for?
We don't care what you do on the parking lot.
Look, this is crazy. How this place, it's got all blacked out windows, but all these guys are inside doing something.
Hi, Elizabeth. So a retired naval intelligence officer says he tracked hundreds of millions of dollars flowing from fake Minneapolis daycares through suitcases at Minneapolis Airport to Somalia, straight to the terror group Al-Shabaab. Philip Parrish was part of the Joint Terrorism Task Force in 2016. He connected the dots
10 years
to
ago.
US-designated terror fronts. His ignored warnings tonight raised new questions about fraud.
Right,
and taxpayer
10 years ago
dollars.
they knew about this.
In 2016, we were already tracking that it was adding up to hundreds of millions of dollars.
This is crazy.
And that was just what we were tracking then.
In 2016,
So
Philip
awful.
Parrish, then a lieutenant in the Navy, was ordered to join the Joint Terrorism Task Force and follow the flow of money to terror groups in Africa and the Middle East.
Great.
Then he found an alarming tie to the U.S.
There's an interesting pattern here happening where the money's coming out of Minneapolis
Wow, it's coming from there.
International Airport. Well, where's it coming from? Are they getting it in Minneapolis? Where's it coming from? Well, that led to then some research about a list of fake companies. Well, it's all cash that's coming out of these fake daycares and or daycares with inflated numbers.
Or
Parrish connected the dots for military operations abroad.
How much money?
Hundreds of millions.
And this was 10 years ago that the military knew about this. Nothing happened. Nothing was done. And now we've got calls from these politicians for the mobs to take to the streets, which they're doing.
You know, when you're talking suitcases of evidence reports, of suspicious activity reports from banking, TSA reports from the airport, and then the military side of the house tracking.
There's evidence everywhere.
You're talking about tens of thousands, $300,000, $500,000, all these different varying amounts.
Bogus companies.
Daily. The open source material will tell you every other week out of Terminal 2.
Wow, it's the same terminal.
But it was daily.
In 2016, 2017, you were with JTTF, and in your professional opinion and experience, the money that you saw leaving Minneapolis Airport, the hundreds of millions of dollars,
in cash,
was that ending up in the hands of terrorists?
Yes.
You cannot make this up. And you know what's fascinating? First, we heard that if ICE and the federal government came to Minnesota, they weren't gonna find anything. That's what these sanctuary leaders all told us. They said, there's nothing to see here. Everything's legit. Everyone's a citizen. You don't have illegal activity. You don't have illegal immigrants. Waste of money. Go ahead, Trump. Try us. Show up. See what happens. And now that they've been here for a couple of months, we have full-on riots in the street. We have people that are in the country illegally ambushing ICE agents. And now we learn this.
No doubt about it.
Direct portions of it were ending up in the hands of terrorists. Absolutely.
It's probably going straight to the mobs in America
from
now.
Pirate boats being bought to essentially the administration of a terrorist network administratively.
Parrish said they tracked the money couriers to the Netherlands, then to Nairobi, Kenya, then straight into Mogadishu, into money exchanges called hawalas, the same exchanges that the Department of Treasury had already designated in 2012 as fronts for the terror group Al-Shabaab. And while the military depended on his reports, he says the public has largely ignored them.
Hundreds of men and women like me know the truth. It's been the truth all along.
Wow.
We don't know why we've been ignored, other than thieving and grifting.
You know why you've been ignored? Because certain politicians in this country have benefited from these scams over the last 25 years, and that's the worst thing about it. It's part of a political insurrection that's been taking place in America for a lot longer than this past week.
We want ICE out of our district. We want them out of our state. We want this terror to stop.
That's not what it is.
The lives of
They're doing
people
their
are
jobs.
being interrupted. and it is not justifiable for the president to target our state and the residents of the beautiful state of Minnesota this way.
Problem is the following. These people are being put out there, the protesters, in my estimation, as cannon fodder. Okay, you have the leaders in Minnesota
to protect the
who
leaders.
are happy to be in the rear with the gear and to say, all of you go out there, impede. Notice that none of them, not Waltz, not Fry, not Keith Ellison, none of them are saying, go out and peacefully protest, but don't interfere. That one statement would dial all of this down. That's what a statesman is supposed to do. Instead, they rile them up because it works for them politically.
Yes, it does.
But it doesn't hurt them. It hurts the protesters.
Yeah, they don't care about these protesters.
I pressed Mayor Fry specifically on what these
They
protesters
just care about
are doing
themselves.
and how the leaders have been encouraging them to go out there and cross that line. Listen to this.
Oh, the sanctuary mayor.
You're seeing it in real time. You are aware that 18 U.S. Code 111 makes it a federal crime to impede, interfere, or even assault officers, and we see the protesters crossing a line of protesting, throwing rocks, hitting cars, and interfering in the federal government's view of their operation of carrying out federal immigration law enforcement.
We have had perhaps tens of thousands of people peacefully protesting.
That's always the excuse. Oh, the whole town came out, and it was just a small number of people. That's what they always tell us. Mostly peaceful protests, yet the rhetoric that makes these things turn violent comes from these sanctuary leaders. And these large protests, they always start out peaceful, don't they, as the rioters line themselves up and come up with a battle plan before enacting it. There is a moment of peace before there is total chaos
In the streets. And at the same time, yeah, they are going to stand up for their neighbors. And what we are seeing time and time again is unconstitutional conduct by
Okay, I have something else to say. Your neighbor is not a random gang member from another country who's in this country illegally and attacks law enforcement. That person's not your neighbor. That person doesn't make your community better. And when you're out there rioting and attacking federal agents to defend that person, you are part of the problem.
Paul, I also pressed the mayor. You can see this interview a little bit later in the 8 o'clock hour on fraud, the issue of fraud. It's really interesting, too, as we see more and more questions starting to come up over whether Attorney General Keith Ellison has been fully
that guy was
honest
bought off
in
by
full,
the fraudsters.
Transparency of sort of whether or not he was aware of it. I think this audio tape where he's talking to a Somali who has been convicted of fraud is quite interesting. Listen here.
Oh, we got a tape.
The only way we can protect what we have is by inserting ourselves into the political arena.
Wow.
Putting our votes where it needs to be, but most importantly, putting our dollars in the right place and supporting candidates that will fight to protect our interests.
Wow.
That's right.
Pay to play.
You can only protect our interests when we have your back, and you don't have to worry about who's behind you.
That's crazy.
And just to be fair, the Somali was convicted after that conversation. Keith Ellison had a statement in April saying, I took a meeting in good faith with people I didn't know.
Okay. I don't believe for a second that secret meetings are happening between high-level elected officials and they don't know who they're meeting with. You mean to tell me the Attorney General that's supposed to investigate fraud has no idea who he's meeting with? He just meets with random people. He doesn't do any investigation. He has no clue if he's meeting with somebody who's good for his state and his city.
A culture of thieving and grifting that was intentional, no matter how it started.
Yeah.
Parrish retired from the Navy in 2019 as a lieutenant commander. He's now running for governor here as a Republican. He lays most of the blame, he says, on what he calls the Democratic establishment here, but he's clear. He says politicians on both sides of the aisle, Elizabeth, were well aware of this for years. Back to you.
Yep. But you know what? That's how fraud works. These schemes, they get so big and they go on for so long that they just become an accepted part of running America. That's the lesson here, is that the larger the federal government gets and the more it can take from its citizens, the more these schemes are just going to happen and just become a way of life, while the way of life of people that are here and are hardworking and are playing by the rules just gets less and less affordable. This is so ridiculous. This story gets more and more ridiculous. Every single day it gets opened up. And now we've got open combat on the streets of a major city and state in America. What do you think about this? Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.